guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Justified Season 5, Episode 6, Kill the Messenger. And this was another fantastic episode, and I could not wait for this episode, especially after the intensity of last week's episode and where it left us last week. I was really interested in seeing where this was going to go, and this was another really great episode that really paid off, and I'm loving this show more and more every week, and I definitely really love this episode. Wasn't as good as last week's, no, I thought it wasn't as good, but it still was an amazing episode. I still really loved it. So let's just get to this episode, and one of the other things I'm liking is that their FX is starting to make their episodes longer. They were airing Justified from like 10 till like 11:03. Now it's like 10 till 11:11, which I think works better because it gives it some of the other storylines more screen time. So I definitely enjoyed that a lot. I thought that was really good. I'm sure they've done that in the past, but I enjoy that they're doing that now. So let's just get to this episode. So we first see Art. He's sitting in a bar nursing whiskey when Raylan pulls up outside in the rain. His head's and he sits down by Art, and as soon as he sits down, Art then punches Raylan in the face, and he walks out, and Raylan watches him and then picks up his hat. So right away it was already intense. I'm like, wow, what is going on here? I thought that was a pretty awesome way to start out the episode. This is probably because Art found out, that what Raylan did, he was probably really upset about, so he punched him. I mean, that's probably what happened. So then, Allison, she goes over, so then we see Allison, she goes over to the Crow House. This is a really big scene because there's a lot that happens in this scene. She's going over to the Crow House, and there's that crazy dog there. She's dancing outside with this crazy dog. She looks very uncomfortable. We can definitely see she really does not want to be there, but she kind of has to because she has really no other choice at this point. She tries to creep, but Danny pans at her, threatens to loose the dog on her, and she gets in her car as quickly as she can. She lights a joint on her drive out. So a truck comes up behind her too fast and too close. It bumps the back of her car, repeatedly causing her to swerve. Allison drives off the road into a ditch and crashes her car. When she gets out, she sees Danny at the top of the hill. He whoops and then drives away. Again, really intense scenes here. I mean, definitely the first two big scenes of the Raylan plot were really intense, and I really enjoyed that. A lot about this episode was how intense it was. So then the marshals meet up with Raylan, and Raylan tells Art that Theo is refusing to talk even to the doctors. Tim asks why Raylan has a black eye and asks if he slipped in the same shower that Art says he hurt his hand in, and Raylan agrees to do a shitty inventory job, and Rachel says she'll help. He tells her they need an excuse before they go into storage of people, because people will talk. So then Allison gets out of the elevator. She asks about his face. She's also banged up, and he tells her he wants to hear about her face first. And I thought that was actually kind of cute scene, the way that worked. I thought that was definitely pretty cute, the way that worked. I did skip one thing before. Allison was talking to Wendy, and you could see that, Wendy and Kendall are coming with groceries. And the thing is, Wendy and Kendall really are the only normal ones in this Crow family. We've clearly seen that. So then Danny's behind the bar. Daryl calls JB and leaves a message. Danny says that he may be shacked up with one of the hookers. Daryl says it's odd for him to go missing. And Danny says one of the rednecks may have taken him out. Daryl asks Kendall if he knows, and Danny finally says that Baptist JB the Hayton was talking shit about Daryl. So Danny says he threatened him, and then JB said he should have stayed in Florida. And the Hayton says maybe he will. Daryl asks for confirmation from Kendall, and he provides it. And then a fight starts to break out, and that's Daryl sends Danny to deal with it. So then Rachel asks Raylan why Allison didn't go to the police, and he says she was avoiding a field test and admits she smokes dope. Rachel isn't very impressed by this, but she does tell him she's going with the Harlem to kick Danny Crow's ass, and he tells her she can drive. I love Raylan and Rachel's friendship. Very playful and always very funny. I love that about this show. They have a really nice friendship. So Dewey has a buyer looking at his above-ground pool. He says he's selling it for traveling money. The guy says he'll take it out, but then notices the bullet holes. He says it's junk and offers him $20. Dewey tells him he paid $1,000 for it and says it was his dream, and he's not selling it for $20. Dewey chases him off, yelling that he's not giving up on his dream. Danny then comes out carrying an unconscious guy he says was talking too much shit about him. He tosses the guy in the bed off his pickup truck. Dewey asks if he gives Daryl enough money if he'll really leave Kentucky. The guy comes to and pops up. Danny punches him again. That reminds Dewey that Boyd didn't budge the last time they asked for the money. Dewey proposes putting Boyd at gunpoint and demanding the money. Danny tells him he is a genius. So then, now the rest of Dewey and Daryl had to do a Boyd storyline, which we'll get to. But so yeah, that's basically what was happening there. So what happens with this is then the two crows tell Wendy they've got Boyd's guy in the trunk. Danny panics and thinks they know about the kidnapping. She talks him down, says they can't come in without a warrant, and she tells him she'll deal with Raylan. She walks down and asks what he wants. He says he thought she was back in Miami. He asks for Danny. He tells her what Danny did to Allison. Wendy says he wouldn't do it, and Raylan explains that her brother is a dumbass, which is completely true. She says she'll take a message, and Raylan tells her that there are lots of cars there just for her. He tells her that he thinks the guy that owns the house is tied up in the basement or dead. He can enter the property. She insists the lease is legit. He stops short of going on, and where Danny was waiting for him with a knife. So that was definitely really intense right there. I thought that was a pretty cool scene because I didn't expect that to happen. I thought that was really good. So then Raylan and Rachel find Kendall working in the store instead of at school. This was kind of a fun scene. We got to see that, Kendall's a really fun kid and everything. He's a really nice kid to them. So Kendall really isn't that bad. But then we see Daryl. He comes in. They ask where Mike is, the guy that owns the store and the house they've taken. He's got a power saw, and Raylan, power saw. Why did I say it like that? He's got a power saw. Why did I say like power saw? That was weird. Sorry, guys. Power saw, and Raylan asks if he's going to use it to cut up in the old man. Daryl says that he's got a dark mind and takes him into the back to talk to Mike. I thought that scene was kind of funny, the way that worked. Then Mike says it's all good. So then Jimmy comes in, and alright, so Mike says it's all good and let Allison and Kendall move in because they need a place to stay. Raylan tells Mike to tell them they can't live in his house, and then he asks if he needs to also make them the hunting cabin. So this is kind of interesting because then we see Raylan realizes that Carl is Boyd's guy, and Carl says there was no crime commissioned. Raylan says it seemed like a peaceful resolution, and Danny smiles with malice. That was definitely a pretty big scene. When Raylan saw Carl tied up, I thought that was definitely a really big scene there. So Raylan tells, Rachel tells Raylan that he wanted to beat Danny, and he admits he enjoyed watching her bust his face. He says she can only come on and report back to Art that she kept him in line, and he calls her the office kiss ass, and she tells him that he's looking at everyone. She says she came along in case he wanted to talk about how Art has a swollen fist and he has a black eye. So then Raylan tells her he's sorry for calling her a kiss ass and just trusts her with his life, but isn't telling her anything about him and Art. Rachel asks if he would create a shitstorm of biblical proportion, and he doesn't answer. So it was definitely really interesting. I am wondering what kind of happened between them that caused that black eye. I think that will be interesting to see, and that will definitely come back into play. Now, the last thing we see with Raylan is Allison tells Raylan she asks him not to stir the pot. He says he just sniffed it. He says they'll all tear each other apart soon. She asks if he's disappointed that he didn't get to kick Danny's ass. He tells her his black eye is from his boss and he's no hero. She asks who he really is. She asks if he's the guy who defends his ladies' honor, stashes an ex and a baby on a state and gets punched by his boss. She says he's a hero that would run to a burning building in the wink of an eye, but is also the guy that would set the fire. Oh, which is kind of true. Raylan does cause problems a lot, and, Allison is right with this. So that's the last thing we saw of Raylan. Raylan's plot, though, definitely really affected him. I am looking forward to seeing where this whole Art and Raylan thing goes. So now let's get to Boyd. So Boyd comes in, he greets a giant white supremacist buddy of his own, Gunner Swift, who's still at the Aryan bent. He asks if Boyd really lets black people into his church. Boyd changes the subject and asks him about his sister that's still in jail. He says his sister called that morning and told him about a new prisoner named Crowder, who of course is Ava. Now, we'll get to Ava in a second, but Gunnar asks who she is. Boyd says a simplistic explanation that she's his wife. She asks how long Boyd wants Gretchen to look after her, and he says for a while and gives him a stack of cash for his sister to protect Ava. So, then we see... Alright. So, we got that whole scene with Dewey and Danny, as I was talking about. So Dewey and Danny, they come into Boyd's bar. He finds his guys cleaning, asks if he's there to apologize to Boyd. Danny asks where Boyd is. Dewey pulls a gun, points it at him. He asks if Dewey got out of a cereal box. He tells him he's on the edge of a high ledge. The guy punches Danny and then goes for Dewey. The brothers finally knock him down and then pistol whip him unconscious. Danny tells him they're on plan B and we'll see how much Boyd will pay for him. So Boyd is with the Dixie Mafia guys when Alberto Ruiz comes knocking. Mr. Young also comes in and Boyd impresses him with his cultural knowledge. And when Duffy tells him they've had some issues with the pay-up-front business model, Young says he can go ahead without the money first, but his employees are not to be crossed. So that's what happens there. And Boyd asks if there's a deal here. So that's basically what happens there. So then we see... Alright, so then Boyd comes back, wonders where Carl is. He gets a call and tells Jimmy that Ava got jumped in jail. He tells Jimmy he needs to run an errand. Now, this errand that he needs, he does find out the truth about, you know, the jail thing. And he's really pissed about it at this point. He really is. You definitely see that. Now, the biggest thing here is that Jimmy then comes in and tells Boyd that Gunnar is holed up with some neo-Nazis and it looks like he's just waiting on them. Jimmy tries to call Carl again, but Dewey answers it. This was actually a very funny scene, because the whole time Jimmy thought Dewey was Carl. Definitely a very funny scene. I thought that was definitely probably the funniest scene in the episode. The reception's spotty. Jimmy can't hear him. He still thinks it's Carl. Dewey curses the phone, then calls back, and that scene was just really funny, the way that worked out. So Boyd walks into Gunner's. The supremacist tells him that he's got balls to come in there. Boyd asks for a refund. He whistles. The crows come in. Daryl proceeds to beat Gunner's ass good while the others hold back his crew again. And he tells him that if anything else happens to Ava, he'll take him out 100-fold. And that's what basically ends up happening. So Boyd calls Hot Rod, says he's got his cousin and will meet him soon. Boyd tells him that the Mexican business needs to go smooth, and Hot Rod asks if he remembers the day they sold some dump in the barn, and Boyd says he does remember that day. And then the biggest scene of all is that Boyd comes in, finds the crows counting cash. He asks if they want some more money, and he says he's another job for them. And that job he has, and when he leaves because she doesn't want to hear about the dirty business. But Daryl asks if the next job is more fun than being on Skinheads. And Boyd says the new job is killing Johnny. He wants to kill his cousin. And this is going to be amazing to see. I think that was definitely something that came out of nowhere. And I'm really interested in seeing where that's going to go, because that's a really amazing storyline. There's a lot they could do with that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to go. So now, finally, we have to talk about Ava. Now, Ava's plot, I really am enjoying it, because Ava really is an innocent person. You really do see that, but you also see that she is a kind of a rough person as well. So she's brought in wearing chains. She's watched while she showers. She does go to the, state women's prison. She didn't go to state penitentiary. She went to the state women's prison. I think, does that mean state penitentiary? Yeah, I think it does. So you see her there, and you see clearly she's not being treated very well. Her lawyer comes to see her in jail, tells her she'll have protection in Gen Pop, and it's short and says that he's working on helping her and cares about her. She gets a special from Boyd about that. She asks if Boyd can help her, and he doesn't answer. So meanwhile, what happens is there's a knock at Ava's cell door. They tell her to pack up her shit. Now she's really in Gen Pop with the commercial bunks and all. Her bunkmate tells her not to bring in drugs and keep clean. That's Nikki, and Ava agrees. So what ends up happening, though, is we see that Ava is pretty much, she comes out in the yard. A couple of sisters start to mess with her. Penny comes to her. We see this girl, Penny. Now, Penny seems like she actually might be the one that might actually help out Ava. It seems that might end up happening. She says Ava just needs to be left alone. Ava says she's not sure that's possible. And I felt really bad for her, because as soon as this happens, they start cutting Ava's hair off. Now, Ava realizes that if she wants to survive, she sits in her bunk totally freaked out. She hops down, whispers to Nikki. She asks for a razor that she keeps in her mattress. Nikki tells her she's crazy to go after Gretchen, says she only needs it for a second, and she decides to shave off all of her hair. and that's really all we saw of Ava. I will say her plot is very effective, though. I mean, a lot of people can relate to it, and I really enjoyed her plot. I thought it was definitely really big, and I am enjoying her plot a lot. I think it's definitely a big twist, but I am enjoying it. So that was basically the episode, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this episode. It's quick things I want to say about the episode. A lot of things happen in this episode. The biggest thing is what's going to happen with this whole, Art and Raylan thing. What really happened between the two of them that caused what really happened there. Also, how is Boyd going to get to kill Cousin Johnny? And do you like Ava's storyline? I don't know. I really enjoyed her storyline as well. That's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.